You know it's the males. I mean, the light shines back in your face. It's very metallic. About coneflowers, but we could always mix anything in here. Yeah. As long as my mind says it needs to be pollinator friendly.
Yeah.
I always have to have a reason for doing things, and so when I saw caterpillars eating the plants, I thought, oh look, a reason to have a garden. And so I started putting host plants in my garden and doing it here, of course. And then I started seeing caterpillars at home, and then I kept adding different flower beds at home with host plants and nectar plants to see the butterflies come in. Then I started raising them separately, and it just became a real big hobby of mine that got really big.
Some of these beds do get milkweed in them, yes.
Yeah, which is that's.
It's really fun to see them grow from an egg all the way up to a butterfly. I just love it. I can't really explain why, but I just love it.
Like right over there behind that butterfly chair.
We just expanded it?
And it doesn't bother me as much, but when you know it's like an annual flower bed and there's weeds in it, that drives me nuts.
The importance is that there are pollinators just like bees are, and if we don't have pollinators, we're not going to have food or flowers or anything like that. So it's very important to us to have as many pollinators as we can.
Right there at the corner.
Right.
Above the prickly pears and the yuccas.
Yeah, it's milkweed.
It will be clear, but can't really get into that. I don't want to get them off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overall, through the summer, I say that we're seeing a lot less of everything. From when I first started here 17 years ago, you'd see everything flying around. This year you see a few here and there. You might get a week or two where you see like they've had like one massive like brood of them have come through, or that have come out of chrysalis, and you'll see them, but for the most part the numbers have gone down.
Citizen science projects. They have fun. Yeah. Yeah, ticks can be the worst. So one of the things that I've seen,
There wasn't very many special GMOs in here, and there it was kind of like the same stuff. Like if it was
Viewing of it every year, it seems to get a little worse, but if everybody just keeps planting host plants and getting nectar sources and understanding what you need, because not every caterpillar eats the same thing. They eat a specific thing. A butterfly garden should be like a blanket of flowers and host plants and nectar sources. It doesn't have to be so manicured, and I mean, it can be clean, of course, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And just let it go nuts, and you'll get the butterflies in your yard.
so we were charging for pots, and they were paid for pots. And it kind of
hundreds of thistles. And again,
This is a very complicated topic. Well, it'd be easy to say that insects are in decline. Fortunately, there are some that are not in decline. And of course, there are some that are increasing that we don't want to increase. So it's a very complicated topic. Sometimes insects are increasing in populations because of conservation efforts that we are doing. We want that to happen.
no,
Oh.
that's what I do. Like if I ever accidentally take a,
even at home in my yard, there's like 6 or 7 of them. But it's like I don't even realize I keep grabbing.
We do have pests in our yard, and sometimes we do need to deal with those pests. But there's a lot of things that we can do instead of just grabbing a can of pesticide. When we change the habitat, if we improve the habitat, we'll actually attract beneficial insects that can help keep those pest populations down.
72 or 71 drawers, depending on if across a species or variation across a geographical area. It's good when we are replacing native prairie lands here with lawns. We are essentially replacing what was a native ecosystem with a monoculture of just one non-native plant. And so if you think about the diversity of plants themselves, but also the insects, birds, mammals, reptiles, all of the things that live in the prairie can no longer live on our lawn. Butterflies. Let me see if I can figure out. Observing an insect is simpler because it's pretty small compared to if you are a scientist who's studying.
The benefits of having a native plant to your region is that it's going to be hardier. It's going to be familiar with the environment that it's come from. And typically they're going to have a stronger root system, which will absorb more water and make it less likely that you're going to ever have to provide water from your own tap for it. And it'll be a host plant to, typically will be a host plant to a variety of pollinators.
Right. It's a butterfly.
Oh.
There's a bee right there too. Oh. Or something. And maybe this needs to be something to think about. What could be in this?
So there is a balance you can strike between how you want your landscape to look and how you want to enjoy it, but also to provide habitat for these other creatures. And so even just having a small pollinator strip, you will see a variety of plants that you don't know, and you will see a variety of insects and animals visiting those plants because that's their food source, that's their shelter. He's got his pockets full. Cute. What's invasive is there's nothing really eating it. You might have pollinators on it, but all.
That's fun. I mean, it's just, a weed is a plant out of place. I don't know why we hate certain plants. And yes, I get what they're saying. Like, you see a whole field of dandelions and they got all the fluff on them, and I think we've just, it's unsightly, I guess, but I think that's what we've kind of told ourselves, it's unsightly, to make ourselves believe that. But anyway.
The seed head of it, and if I see it, I will show it to you. But each seed head of Ceresia can.
My fear is that obviously that we're not going to have them anymore if we aren't aware of what we need to do to help fix the problem of no butterflies. And it really comes down to, again, host plants and nectar sources is what everybody can just do a little bit of, because even if you live in an apartment, you can have a pot on your deck even that has a host plant on it, or some kind of nectar source for someone to feed on.
Throughout it, you can see the natives have really thrived and they've come back year after year.